And the Quota showdown is back in Karnataka, with the Siddaramaiah cabinet taking a decision to increase the minority quota in government's housing schemes by 5%. Now, the government currently has a quota of 10%, which will now go up to 15%. This move comes weeks after Karnataka passed a bill to create a 4% Muslim quota in government's civil contracts, while the state government says that ensuring housing for all, including the deprived sections, is the objective. The move has been criticized by the BJP, which calls it blatantly illegal and against the constitution. Union Minister Prahlad Joshi has slammed the government's decision, saying that additional quota will eat into the number of houses meant for the SC, ST and OBC community members. Here's how the political showdown unfolded.
Housing for all is to be implemented. And right now we see that the houseless are more in various downtrodden and minorities. We have increased the housing reservation from 10 to 15, looking at the ground realities.
More than 3 commissions earlier have declared that the minorities, they have done socio-economic studies, and very clearly they have said they need upliftment. Even in the previous government there was a Sachar committee that had said the same.
ये जो धर्माधारित रिजर्वेशन है, वो जॉब में हो, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में हो या हाउसिंग स्कीम में और हाउसिंग स्कीम में हो, ये तो पूरा एंटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है. इसका अर्थ क्या है? जो ओबीसी एससी एसटी का कोटा कम हो जाता है.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Taking this across to our guests joining us, we have Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP. Anurag Naidu is a political analyst joining us. Amrit Shenoy is a political analyst as well, as Syed Aslam Pasha with us. Let me start first and foremost with you. Amrit Shenoy, the allegation coming in from the side of the BJP is that this is nothing but blatant appeasement. They're also adding that this is illegal and unconstitutional. Your response, Amrit?
Accusing the Congress government of minority appeasement has become bread and butter for BJP. It is not a surprising one. Whatever government does, BJP is finding some kind of appeasement in that. I would say government has taken a really genuine action when houses are not occupied, when houses are there, and there is a section in the society which seriously require that facility. So what is wrong in increasing 5%? They are also our citizens. Why this hatred towards one particular religion? And last thing I would say, minority is not only Muslims. There are many other religious people also fall under this category. But BJP has no constructive issues to oppose, administration failures to oppose.
Okay.
So whatever
Tuhin, minority, the definition of minority includes many other religions as well. Why narrow the definition? And if this is for a section of people that require it, then why oppose, is the question coming from Amrit Shenoy. Your response?
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. If you recall the infamous assertion of Dr. Manmohan Singh way back in 2006 that the first right to resources of this country belonged to minorities and particularly the Muslims, I think this Congress government of Siddaramaiah ji has solely dedicated itself to fulfill the mission of Dr. Manmohan Singh. You know, it's an increase of 10%, from 10% to 15% for minority community in government housing is not the only measure which this government has taken on minority appeasement. In March this year, as you recall, 4% of the government contracts were kept aside for the minority community again. And we all know, that in Karnataka, given the history of this Congress government, the only minority for them is the Muslim community. But more than that, in the last few months, they also included a special financial assistance for Muslim marriages, 50,000 for Muslim couples, and set aside 150 crore for redevelopment of Waqf properties. Moreover, This Karnataka government led by Siddaramaiah has been particularly callous in responding to communal incidents, in communal violence against Hindus. If you recall, again in the last few months, Suhas Sethi, a Hindu activist from Mangalore, was brutally killed, and this government was once again found wanting. It did not respond.
One by one. Yeah, one by one.
Last year in the heart of, just 10 seconds, last year in the heart of Bangalore, a man was beaten up just because, you know, he wanted to hear Hanuman Chalisa on his phone. He was beaten up brutally, and even then the Karnataka government did not respond immediately.
Number of points, Tuhin, that you've made over there. Let's get in a response now. There's a clear pattern of appeasement, says Tuhin Sinha. Syed Aslam Pasha, your response to him.
I think Mr. Tuhin Sinha is forgetting the fact that Muslims also belong to this country. And according to the various reports which have been published, including the Sacha Committee report, the socio-economic welfare status, the socio-economic and educational status of Muslims is least. They stand in the least level. Their socio-economic and educational status is lesser than the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. And there is only one agenda for the BJP, just hatred against Muslims and keep polarizing the majoritarian votes. Now, the other point is, my friend Tuhin, do you think the per capita income of Muslims is the least in the country? The education and the literacy level of Muslims is the least in the country. If you are completely bothered about the OBC status, are Muslims not in the OBC? The Muslims are in the OBC. The socio-economic and educational status of Muslims.
Syed Aslam Pasha, there's a question here though. And I'm just quoting from what the Supreme Court has said in its order on 9th December 2024. This is in the case of a West Bengal government, and this is in the case of OBC classification of Muslims case. As you are referring to OBCs and Muslims, the court has very clearly stated that reservation cannot be on the basis of religion. And this isn't the first such judgment that says that. There are many judgments of other constitutional courts that have said exactly this. And the BJP says this is the problem.
That is precisely what I opened the debate by saying the statement, Madhav.
Can I quickly respond?
The socio-economic and educational status of the Muslims is the least in the country.
But the Supreme Court is saying it's not allowed, sir. The Supreme Court is saying it's not allowed as per religion, and it has been struck down in the past. It has been struck down in the past. Yeah, one by one. Just one by one, please. I want to get Tuhin, I'm coming to you in just a minute. I just want Anurag to come in, because Anurag, we've seen similar cases of various governments, including the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh government, where similar kinds of quota have been struck down by courts before.
There are, Madhav, thank you for having me on the show. Madhav, there are several precedents. Madhav, are we today saying that we are above the constitutional framework, the vision that Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar gave to this country, that the policies and affirmative actions cannot be based on the religion, has to be based on the socio-economic backwardness, the caste system that was prevalent in India. These are the traditional practices that we have in India. Now, my friend Aslam Pasha told about, okay, Muslims are also our brothers. I'm not disagreeing from that. But what I'm trying to say is, if there are poor, you have 6 lakh acres of waqf land. They're the second or third largest real estate organization in India. Please distribute, please do something about with that real estate, distribute that wealth, and I think you all will become rich. I think we really hope that that land or that real estate be used for productive purposes. Have we taken enough action? I think the governments, whether it is state or center, should think and reflect that how the entire community can be lifted up socio-economically. Now, giving a 5% additional houses are only going to discriminate the other people who are underprivileged in other communities. Not just that, but within the Muslim community himself, there are people who are more privileged. But if you're opening up the doors, what kind of, rationale that you are going to roll out is also something that is into question. And politically, it is such a naive decision, because it is going to polarize the entire the structure based on the religion. Right. And is that the correct thing to do?
I want Aslam Pasha to respond to that, because Aslam Pasha, This is not a decision that is alone. There is also, in March, there was a decision of 4% reservation for Muslims in public contracts. There was also the allegation that, the caste census showed the percentage or the projected population of Muslims instead of 12.58% as 18.08%. That's the charge that has again come in from your opposition there in Karnataka. So they are saying that there is repeated instances which show that there is blatant appeasement happening.
Madhav, I'm glad that you are calling out the reservations which have been given now. I think if your memory serves you right, in the previous BJP government, the reservation which was available for Muslims was pulled out and it was divided between the Okkaliga and the Veerashaiva community. I think you're forgetting that. Now, first of all, if justice has to be done, we are not, neither Tuhin nor my friend Anurag is speaking about it. The reservation which is available in Karnataka for the Muslims, the 4% reservation was pulled out and it was given between the Okkaliga community and the Veerashaiva and Lingayat community.
Okay, let's put that question to the BJP. No problem. Please put that question to the BJP. No. Tuhin is here. Tuhin, you want to respond to him because he says that it is not us who are playing politics with the reservations. It is the erstwhile BJP government which reduced the Muslim quota and gave it to other dominant communities in Karnataka. Please respond to Aslam Pasha.
No, one by one, let me respond to each of the points raised by Mr. Pasha. He says that the per capita income of Muslims is the lowest in the country. So therefore, you should take the example of Gujarat, where the per capita of income of Muslims is highest compared to other states. You follow the Gujarat model, not the Karnataka model, where there is absolutely no appeasement. Number two, you are saying, they need social upliftment. Exactly, this is exactly what we have done. You look at data of all the social welfare schemes of the government in the last 11 years. What is the percentage of Muslims in the country? 15%. What is the total coverage, of Muslims through these social welfare programs? It is in the range of 25 to 36%. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madhav, on this. So you need to realize, but there are sensitive issues. Allotting contracts, just for 10 seconds, allotting infrastructure contracts is a serious issue. Faulty, if you allot it on the basis of religion and set aside main criteria of caliber and main criteria of cost, what will happen is accidents and crashes, and that is something we need to guard against. And as far as the BJP government is concerned, it only took back the quota which Congress party had robbed away from the OBC community.
Your response,
wrong.
Pasha.
Absolutely wrong. No, absolutely wrong. Tuhin, it was not robbed, my friend. Let me reiterate again to you, 15% or 14% of population in India is Muslims. If our socio-economic and educational status is low, we demand the right. We have the right to demand it from the government. How can you use statements like robbed? That's incorrect. Now, you didn't answer to the question, why was it removed? Why was the 4% removed?
Well, Aslam Pasha, but the point is that the courts have not ruled in favor of this quota as well, and we'll have to leave this debate here for the moment. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Tuhin Sinha, Amrit Shenoy, Syed Aslam Pasha, as well as Anurag Naidu. Thank you so much for joining us on this debate.